journal as much as possible because it puts things in perspective. And it's a way to vent and just refill yourself. And I actually do this journaling called best case scenario journaling, where if I'm feeling down and empty, I write what my ideal situation would look like, what I would want this moment to turn out like. And it really helps me afterwards, and it fills my cup, it makes me optimistic and hopeful. I also pray, I think that time helps. And also I try to silence my mind, and sitting there, breathing, you know, I used to see people meditating, and I was like, let me try this thing. So I went on with iTunes, or even YouTube, meditation, music, and it's actually really good because even if you could do 2 minutes, it's 2 minutes of you silencing your mind, focusing on your breath, and all of those fears, negativity, whatever it is that is weighing you down at that moment disappear, and it feels. I've been trying to exercise, that has helped as well. You know, even if it's like 15 minutes, I have a yoga mat at home, so I put my yoga mat there, I go on YouTube, I really stretch, do some yoga, and it helps. 15 minutes, you feel about yourself. Spend time with my daughter as well. It makes me feel like this is my why, and it's almost like a reason to keep going. So I'm like, okay, what would I want her to do in this situation? And that puts things in perspective for me as well.
Thank you so much, Naisar. Let's give it up for Carol. So, Caroline, would you tell us, like, how is it like since you told us you have 2 sons, and yeah, a millennium mom, we would like to know more, as in how you manage your kids with your partner, supportive, you know, as being a mother, and have you ever felt maybe in your life like giving up or being motherhood or anything like that?
Ooh. That's a deep question. Okay, so let's get the elephant out of the room first. I am a single mom.
Wow.
Yeah, all right? I'm a single mom, and I raise my 2 children on my own. Yes, I do get support from my other partners, not 1, 2. The first one was a result of an early pregnancy. Second was I am with a partner right now, but yet I am not married. I am single. Let's get the elephant out of the room. Okay, now that's out the room. I normally say, or they normally say, you can't raise a child on your own. A village has to do it, right? And the partner is not only support. Is not the only support. I have my mom. I have my aunties. I have my siblings. I have my workmates. Yes, my workmates. Let me tell you a story. Not too far ago, when I was pregnant with my lastborn. Well, I don't know if he's my lastborn, but he's my current lastborn right now. I was working in a very tough environment. I was working in entertainment and nightlife. So I had to work really random hours. So at about 5 months pregnant, I was busy up and down in the late hours, walking into rooms that were loud. And yet I had so much support with the people that were around me in my workplace. Fast forward, I actually had my second born. He was premature at 7 months. That was quite a surprise because I found out I was pregnant at the end of 4 months, and I was literally pregnant for like the 5th month, the 6th month, and the 7th month, and boom, I had a child. So literally I was pregnant for 3 months in my head, which was a miracle in disguise, but at the same time it came with their challenges. Now, coming back to to your question or questions, is that I cannot stress enough how when you give help to other people, no matter how it looks like, if that person really values you and values your help, they will some way in another, some way, one way or other, will give back to you. So when I had this abrupt birth at 7 months, I was working at a very tough environment where I had to stay out late at night and supervise. I was head manager and marketing manager and entertainment manager at a place called Warehouse. Do you guys know Warehouse? Yeah, I don't think it's no longer there right now, but there must be building some sort of structure. But back in the day, that was about 2 years ago, I worked in a very tough environment. And after I had my child, my client slash boss at that time was like, Claire, and mind you, I was managing my company and I was managing all these other clients I had on the side, but at the same time, I really needed that job because, like I told you, I'm a single mom. Every penny counts. After I had my child at 7 months, I was in hospital for 2 weeks straight. My son was born premature and he couldn't breathe. He had to be put under an oxygen tank. And he was placed at this area called ICU. I think you guys know about that, right? Okay, I'm not very good with the doctoral terms, but I just know that as a parent, I was extremely worried. I was very on edge, but my mom, my family, and my workmates made sure they came to see me, made sure I was okay. So I'm going to stress again, you cannot raise a child on your own, you need a village to raise a child. I know that there are different stories that vary from different experiences, but this was mine. And after I got back home, I literally came back to work with the baby. I brought the baby to work. And I did not ask my boss, I didn't ask anyone, because everyone knows I get the job done. Hence, I did not have a sitter at the time, so I had to carry my child to work. So every day, I would carry my child in his, pram cradle, and I'll place him on the desk next to mine. I was in an area where I had my own office, so I was very free to literally do what I wanted, and I wasn't being supervised, but people in the vicinity didn't know that, oh my God, Claire is here with me. So no one would really come in the room abruptly if it's unnecessary or whatnot. So I can say again that they were very accommodative. But I had my challenges because I couldn't be there every time my child was, needed me to hold him or to feed him. So my colleague at the time, when I needed to be up and about, he would babysit my baby and rock him to sleep. His name is Brown. He's not here at the moment, but he was very, very helpful, and one of many. So, and this is because natakiwa tuishi vizuri na watu, and I say this because my main testimony on how I grew my children up to this day. Well, my youngest son is 2 years old and he's still at it, but my 17-year-old was homeschooled. I homeschooled him. I utilized my parents' free time to babysit. I also asked some of my workmates to help me out. And I would literally take my son to production shoots as well. So he would learn as I'm going along. And I really think that is part of building my legacy for me and my children. Them learning to see me at work. It's part of my story, it's part of my children's story. And I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Of course, there are people who are like, kazini, wacha nyumbani, swimming, but I wasn't always able to detach, number one. Number two, I didn't always have help at the time that I needed it, so I needed to maneuver that. And I did have a lot of tough nights and tough mornings, getting ready, trying to get myself ready, my kids ready. My 17-year-old for school, although he can get himself ready, I kind of built an independent system So he was able to, at the age of 6, he was able to get himself ready, prepare his breakfast, all of that. That's why I said that structured chaos is a thing for me. Very chaotic lifestyle, but it's very structured. I always make sure that, this person is doing that, this person is doing that. So yeah, I don't know. You guys can ask me more questions later, but that's really in a nutshell of how I handle my children and balance everything.
Thank you so much.
And to finish off as well, yes and no. My partner does support me, but he also doesn't support me. I'm just going to leave it at that. I think you mothers know what I mean.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was such a wonderful time hearing from you all mothers. Thank you so much. I think we'll just some questions, like maybe 3 questions, but it was so wonderful, and I believe everyone will leave with something meaningful from all these reflections that we have gotten here. So if you have written any questions at all, you will ask 3 questions, please. Let's welcome Auntie Sadaka.
Good morning. I wish to comment on that. Such a wonderful insight. But I wanted to add the hallelujah and kusema sometimes you have to be selfish. Let me tell you. We don't have to be selfish. We don't have to be selfless. We have to be self-full, contented. Right. When you're selfish, either you're too selfish or unselfish, but you want everything for you. Being self-full is create love for yourself first. Make sure things are going your way first. You don't do anything to please anyone as long as how you keep on that. Being self-full is making sure everywhere you go you beautify there. Yes. But you're not being selfish. You're being self-content. I did say my pursuit in life now is joy, which is contentment. So it's definitely that, yes, absolutely.
Thank you. We have a question here. Any of you can take it. So one is saying that it's good to hear what each panelist tell their own younger self. What is that one advice? Any of the panelists, especially the Madam Lulu and maybe any of them.
Is this working? Okay, can you hear me? Okay. I don't know. This is, okay. So, we learn something new every day. I have a few younger selves, a few. I started off, when I was really young, I think when I was in primary school, I was extremely shy. I was extremely quiet. I did not like to be seen or heard or any of those things. And then at some point, again, through reading, I learned that you have to express yourself. So I taught myself how to be confident. I completely did a 360 when I was in secondary school. I decided I'm going to be the most outspoken person there is. Actually, I've come down a lot nowadays. But for people who know me back then, I used to be. I could stand in front of 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and really speak. And that took me to places where I wanted to be. What I would say to my younger self, the first younger self, I would say that it's okay. It's okay to express yourself. It's okay to get out of your shell, and it's okay to speak out. And it's okay to be you, and it's okay to be confident. And it's okay to there's a poem that I really like. I think we all know that poem. Who am I? Yeah? Who are you? Is it who am I or who are you? Who are you not to be fabulous, not to be, you know? So I asked myself that question, you know, you are born to shine. So I would have said that to my first younger self, to my second younger self, which was, and when I decided to be confident, it wasn't just being confident and being outspoken, but it was also, I decided I also want to be, I'm trying to find a way to put this. I decided that it was at that moment I realized not even the sky is the limit. I believed I could be anything I want to be. And this was in my secondary school. Again, a little bit of history. I went to a boys' secondary school. There is a very famous, if you are a Tanzanian, you will know this school. Maybe Gen Z might know right now. But it used to be the best boys' school in the country, which was called Kibak Secondary School. I went to that school. It's a kind of school where Form 4, you only have Division 1 for everyone. Not one person, everyone. And Form 6 is the same. And they were, out of 800 students, they were 20 girls. And I was one of those girls. I played basketball in the school team, which had all boys except for me. You know? And then I would sit in class. I remember this is when I decided now I'm going, not even the sky is the limit. I would sit in class and I would look at the boy who is always number 1. And I would say, what is he got that I haven't got? And that's it. The next exam, I am number 1. Mindset. You can do a lot with your mind, a lot. You can do a lot with your mind. That's why I always say that there isn't one person who's better than another person, who is more, you know, intelligent than someone else. You can teach yourself these things. So that's when I became extremely confident. Then I went to the University of Dar es Salaam. 5,000 students back then, one law class in the whole country. Top 20 girls in the law class, which had about 180 students. Again, I said the same thing to myself, why can't I? And then at the time, female students somehow were not allowed to run for the student union thing. The last female student who was vice president at the University of Dar es Salaam, it was in 1974. I was the second. Actually, before me, there was no one else. After 1974, there was no one, and then there was me. And then everyone else. Because I decided someone has to do it. And it was hard. I have to tell you, it was hard. Back in those days, there was a lot of bullying at the university. Girls would even commit suicide because of the bullying. I was bullied. I was threatened. I remember one of my very close friends, her father was a dean of students, and he really used to like me. Even he said to me, Lulu, don't do this. Everyone told me not to do it. You know why I did it? For every other girl who was there at the time, who is going to come. That's why I did it. And of course I did it, and I changed the whole thing until today. And I did that, not because I wanted a name for myself, but because I always believed that we're all equal. And you know, if I worked really hard to be one of the very few in the whole country to get into that one law class which had the highest scoring students across the whole country. Why would I allow someone else to tell me I don't belong? What makes another person have more rights than I do? You know, that is the reason why I did it. So what did I tell my younger self then?